What's up, guys? Contracts and Coffee, Carlos here. I got a couple of questions on how do you get your license? What does that process look like? What is the time frame? You know, how long did it take me personally? So I'll make a quick video. I'm licensed in the state of Texas. So I can only speak to what Texas requires, and they require 180 hours of class time of an accredited course. And TREC is who license us. They're the ones that issue us our license. So they have to accredit the courses. So if you hop on Instagram or on Facebook and you see, hey, get your real estate license in 60 days for 20 bucks or something outrageous like that, look into it. I'm not saying it's fake. Likelihood is that it is fake, but you need to make sure those courses are accredited through TREC. If not, you're going to waste time and money, and you have neither one of those to spare. So I went through Champions Real Estate School. That's who I chose to go through. They are a local or Texas-based school. The class consisted of 6 modules. You have to take all 6, and each 6 has a test at the end. The reason I chose Champions is because they were Zoom classes. Because I went and got my license in the midst of COVID. I know, I'm crazy, but it's Zoom classes. So you had a professor or teacher, whatever you want to call it, there on camera, and then you had your classmates in a little carousel next to you, but you could interact with everybody in real time. So if you had a question, you could raise your hand. The teacher was always there before class and after class for about 30, 45 minutes to hang out. So you could ask them, questions about material you didn't quite understand or just some random question you had. So 6 modules, you don't have to take them in order. I took them in order because to me, they build on top of each other. But Champion says you can take them however the hell you want to. But I just chose to do mine like that. At the end of all 6 modules, like I said, everyone you have to take a test. If you do not pass that test for that module, you have to retake it again. So you could get stuck on a module. So I studied, I took notes, I highlighted the hell out of my book and made sure I was prepared for that test at the end of the session. Each module is about 2.5 to 3 days long, and they don't have them, like they have a module or 2 modules per week. So it can take you some time. It took me about 2 months to get my license. I know people who it took them 6 months. I know people that they went at a very slow pace and took them a year. I just know for my personality and how I learn and retain information, I wanted to go to the classes and test as soon as possible. So in the midst of going through your schooling, you have to apply to take the test. You have to go through TREC. They're going to ask for fingerprint. You're going to have to get background check. You can do that though in the midst of taking your exams or your courses. That's what I would recommend. I know some students waited to the very end, and then your application and your background check and your fingerprint, you're on TREC's timeline, not your own. So they can take a month, 2 months, 3 months. So I knew that going into it. So I started it right from the jump. And as soon as I was done taking with my courses, I got my letter that I was qualified and ready to go test. You have to test at a state approved site. It is a national test and a state test. I don't remember which one was longer, but they were both like 40 to 50 questions, something in that ballpark. I fortunately, thankfully passed on the first go. If you don't pass, you can test, I believe, up to 2 more times. If you fail that 3rd time, you have to take a remedial course. So you don't want to get caught in that. So I would suggest Champions does have a test prep course that they offer at the end of all their other courses. And you don't have to go through their courses to take that prep course. You can just apply to take it. I think it's like 120. It's well worth it. I took it one time, and they basically take all 6 courses, condense it down to a 8-hour session, and they hit all the main points. And again, on that one, I studied, I highlighted, I paid attention because it was 120 bucks and they have 120 bucks spare, but I needed to get the information to pass that test. And yeah, it took me 2 months when I wasn't in class or I wasn't spending time with my kids. I was busting my ass and working as many hours as I could because I still have bills to pay, which I'm sure you do too, and I had kids to feed. So I couldn't just take 2 months off of work and just focus in on this. I had to prioritize, and if I wasn't studying and I wasn't with the kids, I was working. So you need to make sure you can either have some money saved up, that way you can just focus on school, or do like I did in every spare moment that you weren't doing something else, you were working or doing something to move that, move the ball forward. So that's kind of how it goes. Like I said, every state may be a little bit different. I know New York, don't ask me why I know that, but New York is like 80 hours. So it's a lot less than Texas, but again, I don't know what their rules and guidelines are. So that's how I did it. If you have any other questions or you want to learn more about Champions, they're not sponsored. I'm not getting paid by them. I'm just saying that's the route that I went. and that's what worked best for me. So any other questions, leave them in the comments or DM me, and I will get back to you and I can kind of walk you through the whole process, right? You guys have a wonderful night. Peace.